You're a kid that only wanted to win one national event. How were you able to do it as many times as you did?
Well, it's unbelievable. You're right. When I was a young kid, I just wanted to win one national event. And to do this is unbelievable. All I can say to all the young guys, just work hard, keep trying, and your dream will come true.
I never thought my career would turn out the way it did. And as a young man, I just went to the local track, started in 1970, and I had a B altar. And I used to go there and race for trophy on the weekends and just for fun. And I never dreamed it would turn out like this.
Great look on highs could be our best view.
46th different driver Frank has faced in the final round.
Manzo going for his 200th event win in his career. Jay gave him a great run. Manzo does it though. 550, 265 miles an hour. His 92nd national event win and 200th overall. The ace keeps astounding us.
In the early days of the pro comp, it was dragsters and funny cars running against each other. And I was at my home track at Englishtown, New Jersey. And a gentleman, Wolf Boudelier, came from California with his alcohol funny car. And he wound up winning the race. And I stayed a little late that night, and I kind of walked up to his car. There was nobody around. They were gathering things up to go home. And I kind of put my hand on the left front fender. I can remember like it was yesterday. And, I just kind of looked up in the sky, and I says, God, I'd like to win one race before I retire. And it's been an unbelievable journey. I never dreamed I would accomplish what I did. And it's been unbelievable.
Who was the single most influential person in your life?
I think my father. He instilled me of my work ethics. And, I worked every minute that I had off. I worked on my race car. I worked on my engine program. And, I was fortunate enough to meet up with some special people that taught me more about engines, and it just turned out to be a great thing. I had a family construction business. My mother, father, especially my father, was always on me about work, work, work. And the only thing I really liked to do was drag race. And, I was the typical young guy. If it didn't fit, just get a bigger hammer. And as I got to be a little older and I got to hang around with people like Tim Richards, they kind of took the hammer out of my hand, and the word okay, Tim Richards kind of removed it from my vocabulary. Okay doesn't win drag races. And I just, as I got older, I paid attention more to detail, and things just worked out better for me. Marrying my wife, Michelle. That was, one of the greatest things that happened to me. And she's kind of like she's the cheerleader. If I get a little tired, a little down, if I'm at the race and I just can't get a handle on a car, she'll come in and talk to me a little bit. And she's been around here long enough that she kind of knows what the car lacks, believe it or not. And she'll help me. And it'll take a run or two, and I got it straightened out. The car will be straightened out. Well, most of my life, because of the construction business, I stayed on the East Coast. And a lot of these tracks, I had hundreds and hundreds of runs. And when I went back the following year, I knew what the weather conditions were like. I knew what the track condition would be like. It would be hot or cloudy. So I pretty well had the car set up, and I also had the clutch adjusted for this first qualifying run. And because I had so much data in the computer, data in my head for the amount of runs that I made down these tracks. So it gave me an advantage.
Was experience always your greatest asset, more so than the performance of the car?
I think it was. And I think that the competition knew at any given time that if I was a 10th behind, I could step up and roll up to be a 10th in front. And I think I won a few races because people tried, a lot of races that people tried to do something that the car couldn't do, and they wound up beating themselves. I just tried to stay in my game. Example, 3 years ago, my car ran 541 at Maple Grove in the semis. I really believe in my heart I could have came up there for the final and went 538, 539 because of track conditions and weather conditions. But I elected to win the race. I went back up there and ran another 541. That's how I raced. I just wanted to win the race. That was my main goal.
Numbers for this man simply speak for themselves. The 17 national titles, the 21 divisionals, 105 national event wins, 118 divisional wins. Total it up, that man has 261 trophies.
You're no longer driving a race car. Which driver concerned you the most or intimidated you the most?
I'm going to say every driver. That's how I always went to the starting line. Any car that pulled up next to me could beat me. And at any given time, any driver could leave on me or outdrive me. And I respected every person. I don't care if it was a rookie and it was his first race. I respected every car that I ran, every driver.
The first pair of cars we see, that classic struggle between funny car and dragster, both of them utilizing methanol for fuel, supercharged engines. It's Joe Amato in the funny car from Old Forge, Pennsylvania, and Dale Armstrong from Torrance, California.
I had quite a few opportunities to move up to the fuel ranks. And with the family construction business, I couldn't do it right. And I wasn't going to go do something that I would only do halfway, where I could run a part-time fuel car. Or if I had a fuel car and I could run 20 races, that I wouldn't have 100% of my time, 100% of my effort. I'm more of a hands-on guy. I like to turn the wrenches myself. And I couldn't do that, run the business, the amount of personnel, time and money it takes to run a professional fuel car to win championships. I wouldn't have been happy if I couldn't have won the championships every year, just like I did in the alcohol funny car, and I knew I couldn't do that. So I decided to just stay where I was.
Auto Club Finals is about ready to drop the curtain for Frank Manzo.
Also remember, Clint Thompson hurt that thing in the last round. They've been thrashing to get it back together.
It's over. And one of the greatest careers in drag racing comes to a close with national event win 105. 104 of those in top alcohol funny car, 1 in pro comp.
How agonizing of a decision was it for you to step away from driving?
Very much. Let's be honest. This year when I go to the track and I see my friends race, it will hurt. I'll miss it. I'll miss my friends. But I felt it was time. Me and my wife, we talked about it. We've been talking about it for a couple of years. And I decided that I probably had a couple more good years where I could have hung with the young kids. But I just decided it was time to do it now, to win your last race, to win the championship, go out the way I did is just a dream come true. I think the most funniest thing is the final round of Pomona. I knew where I was, what was going on. I knew it was the last time I was going down the track. I knew it was the final round, and it was the most funniest thing. I was running Clint Thompson, a very good driver. And I was rolling up, and as I was putting the top light on, I looked up in the sky, and I says, God, please don't make me be late. And it was really funny. And, you know, I don't think I was worrying about, you know, if I was going to win or lose. I don't think you know, I wanted to do everything perfect. And it's hard sometimes, but it all worked out. And I got the win of that last race.
Number 3, Andretti and Spencer got together.
This could be the Daytona 500. Bobby Labonte goes to the outside.
Labonte up high. Earnhardt uses the lap car of Rick Bass as a pick. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhart will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. Finally.
Was there a particular driver when you came into the sport that you emulated, that you wanted to be like?
And not really. I mean, I don't think I had a certain person. As I got older, and I watched a little bit of NASCAR racing, and I watched Dale Earnhart. I think he was the guy that I really enjoyed watching, because I really believed in my heart he raced because he loved to race, not for the money. And I think that was the difference about him. And you know, so I kind of really wanted to be like an Earnhardt.
How did his death affect you, knowing that that's the way you looked at him? How did his death from racing affect you?
I really didn't. I don't watch NASCAR racing anymore since that happened, just because I have no interest. But the thing is you know, it just goes to show you it can happen to anybody at any given time. And every time I climbed in my car, I respected my car. You know, I don't think there's too many times that I've been up on the center line or knocked a comb over in my career, because I always knew I always raced my car like there was tomorrow. And I knew if I took my car home in one piece, I had an opportunity to win the next race. If I overdrove the car and I stuck it in a wall, I wouldn't be at the next race. You know, you just have to have boundaries. And especially, there's one thing that you can buy, is as you get older, the fear factor goes up in yourself. And I respected the car more and more. And I mean, you know, those cars go, even though they're alcohol funny car as per se, they go pretty fast. And they run the last 330 feet in less than a second. And a lot of things can happen. And it can happen fast, and you can be in big trouble. So I paid attention, stayed up on all the safety equipment, you know, Hans device, all the stuff that NHRA made us bring. They brought to the table for the racers, the drivers. We all complained about it when it was first implemented. But at the end, it was just best for all the drivers, best for all our safety.
A few minutes left. Tell me what you're doing if you change anything to get the car ready for the last pass.
The car's pretty well ready. I made a pretty good clean pass. The car's not hurting anything, but my competition, Bob Godshot, had a little trouble on the previous run, and he won't be able to make it out to the final. So we'll be making a buy run for the win, but we're not going to, you know, take it easy. We're going to make a little change on the car and try and make it go faster.
Racetrack that everybody in your class wanted to beat. They didn't share the same mentality of I race one at a time. They wanted to beat you.
Honestly, I knew that inside of me, but I never thought about it at the race. I tried to focus on my car, the competition in the other lane, and I didn't really think about that too much to try to do more than I thought I could do at the given time on the tracks. I mostly raced the racetrack to try to do the best I could do in that particular lane at that particular time.
me the other day. He said, a media guy at the race, you're 16-time champ. He said, you're the greatest champion of all time. And I laughed. I said, no, I'm not. He said, you've won 16. And I said, Mr. Manzo won 17. Let's hear it for him. Manzo, where are you at? He knew this speech was coming. He already left for the bar. We're going to bring back our TV show next year. We're going to work for NHRA, and we're going to make things better. But, Jimmy, I'd like your team to stand up. Manzo, there you are. To the bone, Manzo. But I want you to know, you are the man. And I mean that because you've done what nobody else has ever done in any sport. And I'm coming after you. So any day you want to come back, you know there's a home out here when a man is that good. Let's hear it for Frank Manzo again.
What's the one thing you want people to remember Frank Manzo for?
I was I worked hard at it. I was a good, clean racer. Every time I went to the starting line, I raced everybody. And, I was the type of guy that I don't care if I had to run you in the final round. If you needed a part, I would loan it to you. I would go over there and help you put it on your car. I always try to do things in the right way in the sport and do the best I can do.